Hi, I'm Roy from Roy's Garage. Today I'm going to be working on a 1996 Toyota Tacoma 3.4 liter automatic. I'm going to be showing you how to replace the passenger right front lower ball joint. These are the tools I'm going to be using today to do this job. Pry bar, rubber mallet, 4-pound sledgehammer, 1/2-inch drive, impact, 21mm socket, 17mm socket, 22mm wrench, 19mm wrench, 17mm wrench, some side cutters, pneumatic grease gun, and some penetrating oil. These are the parts I'm going to be using today to do this job. This is a passenger right front lower ball joint kit. I'm using a quick steer part number K90261. Okay, so right here the ball joint pulled out of the socket. So I turned the steering wheel all the way to the right. So now I'm going to get my tie wire. I'm going to be tie wiring this guy up so I get access to this lower ball joint. So I'm going to be removing this cotter pin. Removing this nut. But don't take the nut all the way off. Just a little. So I'm going to get some penetrating oil, just a little bit. So I'm going to have to pound this bottom joint out. Okay, so I'm going to be removing my wire. So I'm going to turn the wheel all the way to the left. So I'm going to be removing the outer tie rod from the ball joint. So I'm going to be removing this cotter pin and the nut. So we're going to be removing the nut. Don't take it all the way off. I'm going to be shooting some penetrating oil. So I'm going to be reusing this tie rod. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a bar or a pipe. I'm going to be prying this thing upwards to put pressure, and at the same time I'm going to be hitting the lower ball joint, this arm. So I'm going to get a block of wood. I'm going to be putting it between my spring and the spindle to kind of space it outwards. Okay. So there's 2 bolts under here that bolt the lower ball joint to the spindle. So we're going to be removing the 2 bolts. This bolt And this bolt I gotta remove. So I'm gonna be bolting up my lower ball joint to the spindle. Okay, so I'm gonna be tightening it up. Okay. So I'm gonna be removing this block of wood. I'm gonna be putting on my outer tie rod. Okay, so you gotta line up the hole so you can put the cotter pin in. Okay, so I straightened out the wheel. Now I'm gonna be, with my jack, I'm gonna be raising up the lower control arm. Because if you don't, you can't put the ball joint into the lower control arm. So you gotta raise them up. So now you can put the lower ball joint in. Grease it some more. Sometimes if there's not enough tread showing to put on your nut, just get a pry bar, kind of wedge it between the spring and the upper control arm and push down on it. Then that way you're gonna get more tread so you can screw the nut on. Now I'm gonna remove the jack. So we're gonna be tightening down the nut. So we're gonna need to line up the hole so we can put the cotter pin on. So I lined up the hole. Now we're going to be bending the cotter pin. Okay, don't forget to grease up your lower ball joint. So that's how you replace a passenger side right front broken lower ball joint. If you have any questions, comment below. If this is the first time watching my video, please subscribe, give me the thumbs up, and I see you in the next video. Aloha.